Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 416, an epitome of the homeopathic healing art. This is 103 pages, so it's an intermediate read, and it was written specifically as a sort of guide to the actual usage of some of the mineral and herbal materials that were used within homeopathy. Now, the concept of homeopathy effectively degrades over time into the concept of repeatedly diluting things until there's an infinitesimally small amount of the medicine. This was actually an improvement on past eras of medicine, and I'll explain. First and foremost, though, link in the description of this video and pinned at the top on YouTube to the Amazon link where you can buy a copy of this work. It is fascinating. I do recommend it. Homeopathy effectively took all of the poisonous materials that had been megadosed and began microdosing them. When you hear about microdosing in the sense of like Silicon Valley nerds taking, very small amounts of LSD, not enough to get high, but they think it makes their work more creative or makes them work longer hours more easily and stuff. Microdosing actually begins with homeopathy. The concept, effectively, was a positive one, along with the Thomsonian system, which was less toxic and more like rooted in traditional herbal medicine. Homeopathy saved a lot of lives, not because people were actually taking effective medicine, but because they were not megadosing on poisonous substances. So, which would you rather do? Take this shot of highly concentrated arsenic, or take this shot which has 2 molecules of arsenic in it? Effectively, you're saving lives by not taking them at that point. Very interesting. They used things like Rus toxica. Mercury was still used, arsenic, and so forth, although some of the more toxic compounds were dropped by this time. We're talking about the 19th century here. Homeopathy eventually died out into nothing more than an alternative medicine practice at this point, and really maintains no credibility within mainline medicine. But it's still got a fascinating history. So again, this is mainly a laundry list of different diseases and injuries and things like that, what to administer, and the dosages, of course, and then a list of different, the compounds themselves, the more important ones. Some of them are innocuous, like chamomile, etc. Lobelia, inflata debate is still raging at this time. I suppose this particular doctor did not endorse lobelia because I don't think it appears in there. The Thomsonians famously administered that emetic for basically everything. Give people a mild purge and suddenly they felt better. Yeah, after you puke, you feel better than, before you puked if you had any form of nausea or something like that, but you don't really need to force yourself to purge that way. You can literally use your finger in the same manner. It's not necessarily the most efficient system, although it's one that I have some high regard for, again, because you simply weren't giving people so much poison that they were dropping dead. The cure is definitely worse than the disease there for hundreds of years. Fascinating work, and the last section actually is important, which talks about the preparation of medicine. It gives various guides, like one of the tips is not to use tobacco products in the room where you're preparing the pills and stuff, because it would contaminate them. Talking about the construction of pills, the method of dilution, the scales and weights, and so forth. So it's an interesting work. It's apothecarian in nature. Interesting look at an element of historical medicine, of alternative medicine from the 19th century. Although homeopathy did develop in the prior century, this is the era in which you've got a widespread medical debates going on, and people are spraying carbonic acid everywhere to sterilize, and some physicians refuse to use it, and you've got the germ debate and all of these things raging, and just fascinating. Again, link in the description and pinned at the top if you're watching on YouTube to the Amazon link, 103 pages, intermediate work. Fascinating. That's about all. Peace out.